I actually had some really good luck lately, or recently I should say. Now, most of you probably know that I was supposed to be out of this garage at the end of February. As it turns out, the tenants who were supposed to move in actually got delayed or they bailed, I'm not sure, but basically my landlord asked if I wanted to extend my lease for an extra month. And in fact, he even allowed me to use my security deposit to cover the month, which is awesome, because I didn't have to pay anything extra out of pocket. If I were to have moved out at the end of last month, the camper is just in a state that I didn't really feel too comfortable transporting it in, and I really didn't want it sitting in my driveway in the rain in its current state. So the extra month is just gonna give me the opportunity to put my head down, get to work, really try to get it to a place where I can feel comfortable transporting it back home. I know I missed you guys on Sunday, and I apologize about that, but I actually did go out and film, or I tried to film, I should say, and it sucks that it didn't work out because I went to this like super epic, beautiful spot, and it was just so nice to get outside again. Now, the reason that things didn't work out is because I did a pretty bad job with planning, because I didn't realize and I didn't know that the area that I was trying to get to was completely drowned in mud and snow. Like, I almost got stuck in my truck. Like, I was trying to drive down to the spot and I realized like, oh, this is really deep mud. And I almost got stuck. I had to get out of there. And unfortunately, that whole area around there just didn't have any other camping opportunities. And I didn't have a camper shell, or I didn't have any type of camper in my truck. So normally I would have just like went to Walmart or something, or found somewhere else to sleep. But since I just have an open truck bed, it just didn't work out. I ended up going home. I ended up driving all the way home. That was an epic fail, epic fail. I'm gonna get out and do some camping this week though, because I'm dying to spend a night in the wilderness. But for now we're gonna work. Now, since the last time we spoke, I made a lot of progress. I really put my head down and I was trying to get the camper as ready to hit the road as possible. And by hit the road, I just mean get it back to my house. So I got a few things done, and I'm gonna play some of the footage so you could see exactly what I got done. First of all, I pretty much fixed all of the crinkling noises. There's still a little tiny bit, but definitely not nearly as much as there was when I initially installed the subfloor. Next thing you'll notice is I started to install foam board insulation panels on the wall. And the last thing that I did is I just went around in all four corners and I put new reinforcement boards. These are both, so this board is where the jack brackets attach to, and this is where the tie-down brackets are gonna attach to. All right, so you saw everything that I did to the camper in the meantime. Now let me show you the camper in its current state. And brace yourselves, it looks a little bit different. I know. A lot of you guys are probably thinking, Jonathan, what the heck? Like, what, really? You tore out the subfloor, all of that work you did, all the money you spent, you tore that out and threw it away because of your OCD? Yes and no. Yes, my OCD was making me hyper aware of the noise that was coming from the subfloor, but more importantly, I did a little bit more research and I discovered that although the aluminum subframe was a cool idea, it created what's called thermal bridging, and that basically allows cold and hot air to get in up through the fiberglass into the aluminum itself, and that can potentially create a lot of condensation under a wood subfloor with nowhere to escape to, no way of drying out. Obviously, that could eventually lead to some wood rot down the road. And I didn't want that. I want this thing to be as future-proof as possible, so I'd rather just address it right now before I move forward. You probably also noticed that all of the insulation panels that I installed, they're no longer there. And what happened is they didn't adhere properly to the walls. Oh, and there's one more thing. Yeah, I got a hole in the fiberglass. Yeah. When it first happened, I thought, that's it. All hope is out the window. This camper is going to the dump. But I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Boats are made out of fiberglass. I'm sure they get holes and stuff in them all the time and they don't just take them to the dump. So I did a little bit of research and I discovered that it's a pretty easy fix. And I think that I'll be able to manage. Now, I'm not gonna bore you guys to death and show me redoing all of the work that you've already seen me do. Instead, in this video, I am going to be attempting to repair the hole in the fiberglass. But before we do that, let's hear a quick word from today's sponsor. Do you ever watch my videos and think to yourself, man, how does he keep such a clean, smooth, fresh shave like all of the time? Well, the answer is Harry's. That's right, without Harry's precision shaving products, my face would be just completely overtaken by a big, burly, burdensome lumberjack beard like every other day. Believe me. Ever since I incorporated Harry's into my daily self-care routine, my life has been much smoother. Not only do I love the handcrafted, German-engineered blades, the beautiful textured handle, and the premium quality razor you get for a very fair price, but they also make a foaming shaving gel that's easy on the skin with natural ingredients like aloe and root extract. When you purchase a starter kit from Harry's, you get a 5-blade, German-engineered razor cartridge, a textured, weighted handle, I got mine in the ocean colorway, the shaving cream with aloe, and a nifty travel blade cover. So right now you could actually redeem your own starter kit for just $5 when you go to harrys.com/Jonathan Yench. Or like always, you could just click on the link in the description box down below. Thank you so much to Harry's for sponsoring this video. And remember guys, if you want to support this channel and my videos, one way to do that is to support my sponsors. And I truly, truly appreciate it. Okay, back to the video. Now there's a couple different ways that one can go about making fiberglass repairs. The first of which is just getting mats of fiberglass, cutting them to size, applying resin, layering them on, putting more resin, sanding it, you know, the classic method that's actually used to build fiberglass structures. And that was actually what I was planning on doing when this first happened. I did a little bit of research and I discovered that that was the typical method that a lot of people use. And so that's what I set out to do. But when I was at West Marine, which is a marine supply store, I ended up talking with the manager. I think he was the manager, but he had a lot of knowledge and experience with this type of thing. I told him about the project. I told him about my problem, the hole, all of it. And he actually suggested that I try a different route. Now this is a Marine Tex Marine Epoxy Putty, and it kind of works in a similar way to Bondo. There's a putty material that you mix with a catalyst hardener, and then you take that mixture and you spread it over the area that needs to be repaired. Once it hardens, it becomes a very tough, structurally sound surface. For this job, like with many other jobs, preparation is absolute key. Now all you have to do is wipe the surface with some acetone, sand it down with 80 to 100 grit sandpaper, wipe it down with more acetone, and we should be good to go. Now that the surface is all prepped and ready to go, I'm gonna go ahead and mix up our epoxy. So in the box, you get the actual epoxy itself. It also comes with the catalyst hardener that I was talking about earlier. And I believe this is the perfect ratio if you just use the whole thing all at once. If you don't wanna use the whole thing all at once, then I guess you have to figure out your ratios accordingly. But I'm just gonna use it all at once to keep it simple. Oh man. So it is pretty cold outside right now, which I think has hardened the putty a little bit more than it should be. And it's hard to get out, so. Wow, I don't know how I didn't think of this earlier, but I mean, it's winter right now. The temperature is cold, obviously. Things like epoxy, resins, all of the adhesives in general need a certain temperature for things to cure properly and to work. The epoxy that I have now, not only is it just too hard and just thick and unspreadable, even if I were to like run it under hot water or whatever and get it to a nice warmer, spreadable consistency, when I actually apply it, it still needs to be a certain temperature out in order for it to cure properly, which this garage is not heated. It's basically just the same temperature as it is outside, so that wouldn't work. It's looking like I'm gonna have to go get a heater. I think this will work. I think if I get a heater that I could point just directly at the spot that I'm repairing and keep it at a certain temperature while it's curing, I think that should do the trick, because otherwise if I just spread it on and leave it, I don't think it would ever cure properly, and even if it did, it would just take forever, and I don't know if it would be as structurally strong, so. Yep, it's snowing out again. And it's not snowing that hard, but that just goes to show how cold it is, which means it's gonna be a little tricky to work with the fiberglass repair, but we're gonna give it a shot nonetheless, and we're gonna hope for the best. So first of all, I'm gonna try to get the fiberglass itself heated up by pointing this heater directly at it. It might help if I plug in the extension cord. So I probably should not have left this in the cold shop and instead brought it home with me so it could warm up in my house. But alas, I didn't think that far ahead. So what I'm gonna do is try to run this under some hot water for a while to see if that helps. All right, let's see if this is workable yet. Oh yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. Take all of this out. Now, take the catalyst hardener. Of course, we want to make sure everything is really mixed up well to ensure that everything bonds properly and to ensure that we just have a good mixture, basically. And everything's gonna cure and, you know, harden properly. So I'm gonna put a little bit of tape over the hole as like a backing so the putty doesn't just go right through the hole. Use 2 pieces just to be sure that it's nice and sturdy. All right, guys, well, here goes nothing, I guess. I guess I'm just gonna try to get a nice, smooth glob on like that. And this stuff is sandable, so we're gonna go back in and sand it after it all dries, of course. Just wanna make sure that I'm spreading it as far as the cracks go, not just over the main hole, but also anywhere where there's a crack. That way it just reinforces that spot altogether. All right. It's not pretty, but I think that it will do the job. I'm just gonna put the heater back right in front of it. That way it has a nice consistent source of heat as it's curing. And I think that should do it. It's looking pretty good so far. I think realistically, after it's done curing and I go in and I sand everything, I'll probably at some point have to go back and do another layer to really make sure that that hole is filled in all the way through. Right now, you could already kind of see where the hole still is because it's hard to, I don't know if this material is just normally like this or if it's because it's cold, but it was kind of hard to like layer on that much at a time. So I'm thinking I'll probably have to go back and do some more, but this is a good start. And now all that's left to do is wait till it cures and we could go back and sand it. Woo! Another day, another dollar. I'm excited to see if this cured properly. Let's check it out. It's feeling really solid. Look at that. That's very structurally sound. That's like seriously impressive. That surface turned into basically, it literally feels like a hard plastic. I think it's gonna be more than enough to be able to seal up that hole sufficiently. That is so solid. I'm still amazed. I'm literally so amazed how freaking strong that is. It feels as strong as the fiberglass, if not stronger. You know, I'm a little torn right now because this feels and it looks like it's good to go. I mean, it is strong to the touch. It feels as strong as the fiberglass. I'm sure I could just leave it as is and continue on with my life, and it would be good for many years to come. But there is also the perfectionist in me who wants to go back and fill in the indentations, add some new gel coat so that way I get a nice smooth finished surface like the rest of the camper. But I'm realizing that I still have a lot of work to do until I could transport the camper home. So I think for now I'm just gonna call this done, and I'll have more time to come back to it once the camper is home. I won't have this pressing time sensitivity, and I'll be able to basically make all of these fine-tuned finishing touches. So for now, we're gonna call it a success. This product is awesome, and it turned out a lot better than I was even hoping for. So you might be wondering why I have everything taped off and sealed off in here, and the reason is that my next task is gonna be to go in with my angle grinder and sand everything down once more. Mainly I'm just trying to sand off all of the adhesives that are on the ground. And if you'll remember last time I sanded in here, it just made a complete mess. Like dust got everywhere in the shop, like it got everywhere. So I'm sealing it off so all of the dust stays in the camper. And I also have a way that I'm gonna try to mitigate the amount of dust that settles in the camper as well, which I'll show you right now. So what I have here are air conditioner filters, and these are the exact size of this box. So I'm gonna line up, I think I have 4. Yeah, I'm gonna line up 4 of these filters in the box, and then I'm gonna put this fan in front of the box, pulling air out of the camper through the box filter setup. And theoretically, since I have everything sealed up in here and there's nowhere for air to go or escape, hopefully the idea is that the fan pulling all of the air is gonna catch all of, or not all of, but as much particulates as possible, and the fan's gonna push it through the box with the filters, and theoretically, the filters will catch all, if not most, of the dust that gets created. Note that I said theoretically, because I've never done this, so we'll see if it works. So we got 4 filters in there. You guys already saw me sand the inside of the camper once before, so I'm not gonna film myself doing it again because I don't want the camera to get covered in dust either. Instead, I'm just gonna show you a quick before and after. Here's the camper as it sits currently. All right, I'm going in. I'll see you soon. Oh. Man, that took a long time. I wasn't expecting it to take that long. I mean, that was, to get all the adhesive off, it was pretty tedious, but that's all right. You know what? It's done now. We don't have to worry about it any longer. The next step is gonna be to get the new subfloor installed. But I'm actually not gonna be doing that in this video. In fact, I think I'm gonna end this one here. Once again, thank you to Harry's for sponsoring this video. If you're in the market for some high quality precision shaving products, be sure to check them out. The link is in the description box down below. Thank you guys, like always, for watching. You guys go out there and go on some adventures of your own. Live life, beat the status quo. Y'all know the drill. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm losing it. I'm really losing it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and see you in the next one. Peace. Over and out. Peace. All in one. Over and out. Peace. I told you, I'm losing it. My brain hurts. I'm hungry. It's time to go home. It's time to go home. All right. See ya.